I'm Andy Temte, and welcome to the Saturday Morning Muse. Start your weekend with musings that are designed to support your journey of personal and professional continuous improvement and to improve financial literacy around the world. Today is April the 12th, 2025. And welcome back to our continuing conversation about your personal relationship with risk. Last week, we defined what risk is, introduced the concept of risk aversion, and provided links to 2 free assessments that can be used to get a sense of how risk tolerant you are in your current state. Now, you might be asking, why is an understanding of risk tolerance so important to building financial literacy? Well, as the old saying goes, there is no reward without risk. Indeed, one of the most important balancing acts you will play throughout your entire life is the balancing act between risk and reward. This critical balancing act isn't exclusive to financial transactions. It applies to all aspects of our lives. For example, you take a risk when you ask someone on a date with the expectation of a yes and a new relationship as the reward. You take a risk when you apply for a new job with the expectation of a yes and a new job as the reward. And finally, you take a risk when you raise your hand at work on that cool new project with the expectation that it will lead to the reward of a promotion or some other type of recognition from your supervisor. I could go on and on. Now, these rudimentary examples of risk-reward trade-offs should make clear that there is a positive correlation between risk tolerance and self-confidence and self-esteem. Here, it's important to distinguish between these 2 concepts because although they appear on the surface to be similar, and there is some overlap, they also have distinct characteristics. So, let's look at self-esteem first. Self-esteem is how we value, love, and respect ourselves. Self-esteem changes over time based on our life experiences. For example, if an individual is trapped in a community where bullying and intimidation are the norm, then self-esteem will be challenged and will decline over time. In contrast, if that same individual is now exposed to a new community where loving, supportive behaviors are common, then self-esteem is likely to slowly increase over time as trust in this new supportive environment builds. Next, let's look at self-confidence. Self-confidence is grounded in your belief in your capabilities. Note that your belief in your abilities depends heavily on the circumstance. Using a personal example, if I am asked to give an impromptu talk on the present value return of $100 at 8% over 8 years, I would be confident that I can do a good job on this task based on my extensive training and work experience in finance and education. If 10 minutes later I was asked to pilot an airplane, my self-confidence would plummet and sink to near zero, as I have almost no experience performing that task other than Microsoft Flight Simulator back in the 1990s. Now, the key difference between the 2 concepts is that self-esteem changes more slowly through time based on community and interpersonal interactions, whereas self-confidence can be high or low depending on a specific set of circumstances. Said differently, self-confidence is typically event-specific, whereas self-esteem is the general regard with which we hold ourselves. The bottom line is that if I feel better about myself, meaning that I have positive self-esteem, and am more confident in my abilities, meaning I am self-confident, then My decision-making will improve, and I'll be willing to take more informed and calculated risks to experience higher rewards in life and enjoy higher financial returns. Now, I can't stress enough that I'm talking only about taking informed, calculated risks. Purposeful risk seeking for the sake of enjoying the risk itself is an entirely different subject. We are not talking about skydiving or bungee jumping here. So, how do we improve self-esteem and self-confidence? My willingness and ability to take more informed, calculated risks is positively correlated with my self-esteem and self-confidence. So, how do I build those things? The irony is that to build these characteristics in ourselves, we must take some risk. We must make ourselves purposefully uncomfortable. So here are 3 recommendations. Number 1, as you might expect, commit to a journey of continuous improvement and lifelong learning. Competence is power, and competence builds self-confidence. Remember that competence is knowledge plus skills plus abilities plus attitudes. So the old saying that knowledge is power only addresses part of the competency equation. Stretch yourself and make yourself purposefully uncomfortable by learning something new about money, investing, and finance. As competence grows, decision-making will improve. As decision-making improves, confidence in taking bigger risks will increase, leading to higher expected rewards and returns. Second, surround yourself with positive influences that will challenge you to improve in an environment of psychological safety. Note that these are not the people in your life who just tell you what you want to hear, and are certainly not your bad idea bears who are loads of fun but are a constant source of poor decisions. They are also not the people who question your abilities and purposefully or inadvertently press down on you with their negativity. One of my favorite new songs is Casey Musgrave's Deeper Well. The lyrics to this song punctuate the benefits of making changes to your surroundings to unlock new perspectives and enable growth. She says, "You've got dark energy, something I can't unsee, and I've got to take care of myself." So, to build self-esteem and self-confidence, balance selfishness and selflessness. It's okay to be selfish and say goodbye to folks who aren't positive challengers in our lives. Third, start small. Whatever you do, as you begin to take risks to build self-confidence and ultimately self-esteem, start small. If you're not accustomed to taking risks and suddenly begin swinging for the fences, the sting from a setback or failure will be particularly acute. Learning from failure will be more difficult, and screwing up the courage to take another risk may be a bridge too far. Well, I tried and I failed. Better not take any more risks. Better safe than sorry is a one-way ticket back to being timid and stuck. So, that's our lesson for today. Growth requires some degree of risk tolerance. The more self-confidence and the higher our self-esteem, the more calculated and informed risks we'll be willing to take. To build self-confidence and self-esteem, we must take risks and be willing to learn from failures and missteps. This virtuous cycle works best when we surround ourselves with positive challengers, those people who will simultaneously support and challenge you in an environment of psychological safety. Until next time, I wish you grace, dignity, and compassion. My name is Andy Temte. This is the Saturday Morning Muse. You can find the show on all the major streaming services as well as out on YouTube. Please like, subscribe, rate, and most importantly, share this public good with your friends, your colleagues, and your family. The show is produced by Nicholas Temte, who, by the way, turned me on to that Casey Musgraves song that I explained before. And we'll see you next time on the Saturday Morning Muse.